You tell me the reason I don't have beautiful tone is because Gibson didn't write love notes in the joints of my guitars, huh?
Oh, where do I go with that one? I have thoughts.
Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Today we are finding out how a luthier changes his strings. Today I'm joined by Robert Rask of Rask Guitars. He's an incredibly talented and inspired guitar builder based out of Orem, Utah, who has made a name for himself building guitars for the likes of Mike Ward of the Wallflowers, Greg Camp of Smash Mouth, and the late Charlie Colleen of Train, and many other notable guitarists. How's it going, Robert?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Tell us about this guitar.
Oh, this is a fun guitar. This one's called the Aloha.
Okay.
And actually, the client is my brother. So he actually lives in Arizona, but he loves Hawaii and he goes often.
Sure. And
so he commissioned me to build a Hawaiian-themed or an island-themed guitar. So this one was a lot of fun. There's a lot of meaning and sentiment in it. The body is all koa. The backside's top. Everything is koa, head plate. But we got a lot of little cool details that are really fun.
You want to walk us through them?
Yeah, so we got the rosette. We did something real unique and different. Whale tails and waves.
That's awesome.
What's really fun is the whale tails are actually made of buckeye burl. That's the natural color of the wood.
Okay.
And the water's resin. And then I carried that resin throughout the purfling as well.
Looks pretty good.
And we've got the honu, the sea turtles. And he wanted two turtles holding fins to represent him and his wife.
Adorable.
It's fun. And I put the hearts on, his wife and told him he doesn't have any heart.
Sure.
So,
as brothers would say,
exactly. Exactly. So we've got the honu, and then over here on the head plate, we've got the hibiscus and then the Rask logo with kind of a real Hawaiian themed color.
Absolutely.
Pattern with the yellow outline on the red.
Super pretty. Which
is really fun. I'll come back to the top of this in a second.
Okay.
And we'll talk about all of this white, it's not bone.
Okay.
But we'll come back to that because I'll show it on the other side too.
Sure.
So if I flip it over, of course the back is koa as well, match set. You got the Hawaiian Islands here.
Perfect.
And that's real fun. On the headstock, we've got kind of a beach scene, sand dunes, if you will. That's all koa here.
Yeah.
And that was really fun.
Is this all the same piece of koa, or is it?
It's different pieces kind of cut to look like, layers of sand dunes.
That's awesome.
So it's really fun. And then the sun is actually the natural color of that wood. That's mulberry wood. And then on this heel cap right here, that's kind of my favorite piece of this thing. That's 8,000 years old. And it's the same material as what I'm using for the nut and saddle and the bridge pins. That's fossilized walrus tusk.
Where do you come across fossilized walrus tusk?
I bought that chunk from a lady in Siberia.
Okay, of course, when you're in Siberia.
Yeah, So, and then what was really fun is I commissioned a guy by the name of Bob Hergert, and he's a world-renowned scrimshaw artist. Scrimshaw art is kind of like tattooing bone, if you will.
Sure.
So this is made up of hundreds of thousands of dots to create that image.
Wow.
So I made the piece, cut it out basically, sent it to Bob. He did all the artwork and then sent it back to me. And then I, attached it to the guitar.
That's pretty awesome.
Really, really fun. And then my favorite part is actually the end graft where you plug in. And so I'll show it to you here.
Holy cow.
And, I'll punch into the camera. I'll show it to the camera.
Yeah, we'll get some afterwards, right?
But the teeth and the little diamond in his headdress are the fossilized walrus tusk. Everything else is actually natural color wood. So the brown is koa. The light tan color, that's mango wood from Hawaii as well. And then the orange is a wood called Chalk de Viga, and that's literally the natural color of that, which is just mind-boggling.
Dude, that's so cool.
And every once in a while you have something happen that you just don't expect, and you couldn't plan for if you tried.
Obviously.
The grain in the wood looks like he's kind of doing like this sonic yell, you know, it's like sonic waves coming out of it, which I just think is cool.
Yeah. No, that's so cool coming out of the edge there. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
super,
so
super,
rad.
super fun. So yeah, yep. And then you've got all the stuff here. But I wanted to show kind of what goes underneath the hood.
Absolutely.
And so I'll put this in underneath here. And you can see this is the X-brace cap.
Yeah.
And there's 3 different woods there, but all of them are heartwood. You've got red heart, yellow heart, and purple heart.
So the guitar literally has a heart. Has 3 hearts, it sounds like.
Yeah, 4 actually, if
4,
you count
there you
one
go.
other thing. So anyway, those layers, I chose those specifically because it represents his 3 children. And so each one is a different heart, you know, heartwood. And so that's what that's about. Now on the heel block, that is actually what I call the heart of the guitar. It's kind of a fun thing that I started doing. I had a client come to me and say, you know, I want to do some kind of a nod to my grandmother. She was a florist, and I attribute my success in life to her encouragement. I thought that was a beautiful sentiment.
Absolutely.
So my first reaction was, oh, let's do some roses up the fretboard. He said, no, the guitar's not about grandma. I want to keep it sacred and only show people that I choose to show. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I like that. So it took me several weeks to come up with the idea, but then I ended up putting a single rose on the heel block that's only visible by looking down into the sound hole, you know? And so in this particular case, and in every guitar we do, or I do, I say that as if I have like a mouse in my pocket.
Yeah.
I don't have employees.
Your team of many successful
Yeah.
employees.
Yeah, it's my multiple personalities.
Yes, exactly.
Is what it is. So on every guitar I do, I find out what's the most sacred thing for that client, and then we do some kind of an inlay.
That's awesome.
At that heel block. And then when I got it all done, I kind of realized that's kind of the heart of the guitar.
Sure.
That really is. So I call that the heart inlay. That's the sacred spot. And so I've done all kinds of things in there, from inlaying a Nike shoe to to a rock wall to, you know, birds or flowers or whatever.
Like you said, whatever's sacred to, you know, whoever you're building it for.
And in this particular case, he wanted, again, his kids represented. So he's got their initials, the first initial of each of his kids. Now, something also really interesting that happened, you know, this was my brother's guitar. We built this thing. We were working on it in 2021.
Okay.
In August of 2021. And literally just last night, I found this thumb drive, and it had some video footage of us building this.
That's awesome.
And it was really cool because I'd forgotten that my dad was working on it with us. My dad passed away in January, so almost a year ago.
So sorry for your loss.
Oh, I appreciate that. But it was, you know, back in 2021, he and I are on the phone. He had suffered a massive stroke like 20 years ago, was paralyzed on his whole right half of his body.
Gotcha.
But he still did a lot of woodworking, and he did a lot of scroll saw stuff with his left hand. He'd rig things up so that he'd have hold downs and stuff. He was amazing. Well, I'm on the phone with him, and he's super proud of me because I'm building guitars and, you know, what I'm doing and stuff. And that was cool. But he says, oh man, son, what I wouldn't give to just see you working in your shop, you know? I said, well, do you think you got another trip in you? You know, he wasn't very mobile, right? And so we rallied together. My sister flew with him. My brother drove up, and we got him here.
That's awesome.
And so while we were here, my dad got to work on this guitar.
That's so cool.
And so, you know, it was simple. These plates, the top, the back, he was pushing them through the sander and, you know, thinning them to the right thickness, right? Getting them to the right thickness. And so that day we had my brother, his son, and my dad. And so the 5 of us, did I do my math right? Yeah.
I wasn't even counting.
1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 of us. Again, there's a mouse in my pocket or something
like that.
No, so the 4 of us were in there, you know, 3 generations of Rask men working on this. And this is one of the last things that my dad was able to work on woodworking wise.
Incredible.
So yeah, it's become really, really special to me.
Thank you for
and
bringing it.
It's my brother's. I don't,
Yeah.
It's not my guitar, but it is in the family.
Sure.
So.
Thank you for bringing it. I mean, what a story. Well, I'm sure we'll get into more of that later because you and I can sit here and talk for hours.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure.
But let's go over strings and tools, and then we'll talk some more. So what are your go-to strings?
Okay, my favorite strings on the entire planet are D'Addario. How do you say it? D'Addario?
I think it's D'Addario.
D'Addario? Okay.
Someone in the comments will let us know.
Yeah, no kidding. D'Addario EJ16s. No, I actually, they're great strings. Phosphor bronze. They're kind of the, I don't know, gold standard, I guess.
I feel like they are,
They
yeah.
just, they're kind of widely accepted by the world, if you will. And what I really like is I can buy the bulk packs of, 125 strings. And
someone in your position, it's a pretty necessary thing.
Yep. And I made a little cute holder that holds the box. And
beautiful.
Makes it easy to use.
As long as it's cute,
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. And then what's kind of your step-by-step overview of what you do?
My approach to string changes, this is an opportunity to basically do a full look at everything, kind of a once over. We're gonna check up everything on it. Not that it needs everything every time, but I want to know the condition of the guitar.
Sure.
Wood is hygroscopic. That means that it's going to equalize to the moisture in the air around it.
Okay.
So if you take a guitar from Florida where it's really humid to Arizona, once it gets there, moisture is going to be sucked out of the wood on this thing, which means everything's going to shrink.
Sure.
Okay, that's why you get the fret sprout.
Yep.
And then if you take it back to Florida, it's going to absorb that wood or that water into the wood, and it's going to expand. So everything's always moving.
Absolutely.
So it's not like you can just set up a guitar once and say it's good forever.
Sure.
And so I want to know where it's at today, anytime I'm pulling strings off. And so before I pull strings off, I do most of my checking.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's get into it. What's the first thing you check?
The first thing I check is my neck relief.
Okay.
So I'm gonna fret it here at the first fret. I'm gonna come down right at the 15th, and then I'm gonna push down and look. I like to look right at about the 7th fret. Sure. Kind of in the middle, and I'm looking for just a little bit of relief there. Okay. This one looks to be pretty dead on. Cool. Then I'll come to the first string and do the same thing. And in all reality, this one, I could probably pull a little bit of that neck relief out. Okay. I want to be able to push it down and have not even the full diameter of the string. I want it not to be touching the fret, but I want to be able to push it down and just see the smallest little gap underneath it, right? So in this particular case, another reason why I like to do this before I change my strings is because once I get this tool in here and I'm moving it, I'm going to dent the strings. Right. And who cares if it's ones you're going to pull off, right?
Makes sense to me.
So we'll get it engaged. Okay, there we go. And just the slightest turn on this one. And then I'm going to check it again. And that actually looks right about where I want it. Number 2, I'm going to check my nut slots. Sure. And make sure that they're sitting where I want them to be. And I'm looking for about the same amount of gap. If you look, if I pin it at the 3rd fret and then fret it at number 1, totally. I don't want to see them resting on the fret. Right. And I don't want to see a big gap. If there's a big gap, you're going to be pulling it out of tune. Right. And so I'm literally just looking at each string for just, that same amount of gap. Yeah. That one's a little closer than I'd like to be. This one's a little higher than I'd like it to be. Okay. I mean, and I'm talking thousandths of an inch.
Absolutely.
I mean, so it's not touching. Even though it's a little bit on the low side, it's not buzzing, so I'm not going to worry about it today. Okay. Here, I could probably take a pass or two with a nut file. Sure. And I mean, but you're talking so freaking close.
Absolutely.
Like you could overshoot it real quick.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So you don't want to do this unless you've, you know.
I was going to say, I've done it.
Yeah, unless you're prepared to make a new nut,
Yes.
right? Okay, so that's number 2. Third, I'm going to check my action. And I'm looking for, this is where I want to know if the string height is right.
Sure.
And I don't know if you can see that, but I'm about a 16th or 2/32, you know.
Yeah.
Off of the 12th fret to the bottom of the string.
Right.
And so that action is just dialed right where I want it to be.
Wonderful.
So those are the first 3 things. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my, make sure that none of my frets have, I want to make sure they're all level.
Sure.
So I'll use a fret rocker, and you put them across 3 frets, and you make sure that they're flat and level. They're not rocking, okay? And the reason why it's got this trapezoid shape is that as you go up and the frets get closer together, you can change angles and get a shorter distance. Like this one, I'm not quite touching, but it's easier.
Sure.
Okay, and so far, everything is good. No rocking. Okay, that one okay, there we go.
And so if you do find any rocking, what's the next step?
I would want to level that one.
Okay.
This is a common point. They call it a hinge point because it's where the body meets.
Right.
And the neck tension's pulling it. So sometimes you get some buckling right in this area. So I'm kind of looking for that. Hear that?
Yeah.
Ever so slightly.
Right.
That's the one.
Yep.
So I got a little bit. So I didn't bring my red marker, but usually I'd put a red dot on there. Then I know I've marked which one and I don't forget.
Sure.
Okay. But we're at the, 17th fret? Okay. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. I'm gonna do the other side before I make any changes.
Sounds good.
Okay. This guitar was done not super long ago.
Okay.
So, you know, things move.
Yeah.
Things change. Now, if I have a few, it's that's actually not the same fret.
Okay.
That's one more up.
Gotcha.
So that's the 18th.
So that 18th.
So I've got a 17th and an 18th here.
Okay.
So if I had like all over the fretboard or a couple up here and a few down here, then I'm just doing a fret level.
Sure.
When I take the strings off.
Yeah.
And then I'll recrown and polish and
Absolutely.
stuff like that. In this case, where I just have 2 spots and they're really kind of up high and out of the way, I will use a tool. These are made by Music Nomad, and they're really cool. They're little fret kissers.
Okay.
Okay, and so you can put it in underneath the string, and I know that I'm on my what was it, the 18th,
Yep, the
right
18th.
here. And see these 2 marks? I've got diamond abrasive between them,
Gotcha.
but it's smooth on the other, so and it's level. So I can ride on the other frets, and you can hear it. Oh yeah. And I can just, as long as I don't run those up over my other, I can literally just file it down to the right spot.
Sure.
Now, I'm going to check it back a little bit further too. See, it's fine here. And now it's gone.
Perfect.
Oh, wait. Okay. Now it's gone.
Almost like you know what you're doing.
Almost. One day I will. I'll figure it out someday. And now I'll go back and get this 17th fret. Okay. Now we'll check it. And no rock. We're gone. We got it.
Rock and roll.
So it's done. I took off very, very little. At this point, I would want to, once I took the strings off, I'd want to just hit them with my crowning file, polish it up again real quick.
Absolutely.
And, boom, I'm going to skip that.
All right.
Because I didn't bring my crown folio.
Sounds good. I know. So, you're not in your shop, so
yeah,
we'll forgive it.
So anyway, that's so that would be my last and final check, and it would let me know if I needed to do a fret level across the whole fretboard or not.
Wonderful.
So now I'm ready to change strings.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you go ahead and get started, and I'll keep asking you questions. How about that?
Cool. So I have an old bridge that I had to steam off of one of my guitars at one point. So I use that to hold my bridge pins. I cut each one of these specifically for each string slot.
Makes
So
sense.
as a result, I don't want to just pull them all out
Sure.
and then mix them up or whatever. So I'm really meticulous about that.
Makes sense.
So when I pull my bridge pins out, I'm going to put them in my holder. Probably one of my favorite investments was just this little Dremel.
Yeah.
And this comes from Music Nomad,
Right.
you know, as well. But I mean, this thing's a lifesaver. Just electric screwdriver. It's the ergonomics. When I was using a drill with this thing, it was great when I'm over here.
Right, but then when you got to get on this side,
It's
a
really
pain.
uncomfortable
Totally.
and weird angles. So this one really helps. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just take them off.
Sweet.
And I'm not one of those Neanderthals that just cut them under tension.
Yeah.
You know.
No, me neither.
I don't think it's going to make the guitar explode or
I was
anything
gonna
like
say.
that. But I just take them off.
Yeah. Treat it with care, you know.
And I'm kind of kidding about the Neanderthal thing. If you cut your guitar strings off, don't take offense. I'm just joking.
No, take offense. There's a problem here.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Something that I like to do whenever I'm talking to new people that I've never really talked to before is I go back to the first post that I can find in their Instagram that is guitar related, right? Okay. And what's interesting for you is early on in your Instagram feed, you have hand-turned wooden pens, you have furniture, and then there's just this post in 2017 that's like, I'm going to try building a guitar. So take me back to that mindset. Where were you when you were in the midst of building furniture and all this other stuff, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, guitar?
Yeah. I had wanted to build one for a really, really long time. And so, I mean, it was like kind of a 10-year mental buildup, if you will.
Sure, yeah.
Right? I had become pretty successful with woodworking and become pretty good at it. And, 10 years earlier to me, previous to that, I was playing a guitar one day in my basement, and I was new to it. It wasn't very good. Still not very good at playing them.
Me neither.
But I just looked down into the sound hole and I went, man, that thing's made out of wood. I wonder if I can do that. And so that's kind of what spurred it on. I started buying books and trying to learn anything I could about building guitars, talking to other luthiers and things like that, right? And so in 2017, I finally... And by the way, I didn't have anywhere to work on for a while. Like I gone through some difficult times, and then ended up, life adjustments and things changed. I moved into a condo, and I had nowhere to work on wood. All my tools went into storage. My nephew calls me up one day, Uncle Robert, I want to learn how to woodwork. I have a 2-car garage that's not going to be parked in. Can you bring your tools out of storage and we've got this shop, and will you teach me how to woodwork? I'm like, yeah.
I was going to say, thus the legend was born.
That's where it kind of refired back up. Now that I had a place to work on it, we could get into it. So my nephew, Randy, and I, Randy helped build this one too. He worked on it.
Cool.
But he and I built our first 2 guitars together.
Cool.
And so it was really amazing.
Yeah.
It was a killer experience.
That's awesome.
So now another little thing, I'm not a big fan of leverage or using those tools to pop these things. You end up invariably at some point nicking or denting something. So I like to use these either snaps, or this is a new one from D'Addario, and you just pushes over and then locks over around it, and then it just pulls straight out.
Cool.
And they are worth their weight in gold.
Absolutely.
And so I'll pull each one of these out, put them in their correct spot so I don't mix them up. By the way, I do mark them. You'll have little, I just drill a little hole,
fifth,
not drill, but I use a little burr and I, put dots in them and then fill them so that if I did get them mixed up.
Sure, still be able to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the argument for cutting each one specifically?
Because even though a lot of these things are made in machines, these are handmade. These are fossilized walrus tusk.
The walrus tusk.
Right? But they're not going to be all the same size. There's going to be just the smallest variance in diameter or whatever. So when I'm reaming my tapered holes, I just cut them to each.
Gotcha.
Once I've got my strings free, I am going to recycle them.
Nice.
So these go into a special box.
I'm going to say, yeah, I recycle my strings too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, I don't recycle them this traditional ways.
Okay.
I'm going to do something. These are going to end up in a guitar sometime.
Figured.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool because, maybe I'll save that for another day.
Right.
Anyway.
To be continued.
Yeah, we'll do that. Well, that's fine. It'll come out. And my little holder will hold that too.
Perfect.
Okay. So now I can go ahead and do a good cleanup at this point.
Perfect.
I use just some Wizard's Mist and Shine. Now, it's a catalyzed polyester and polyurethane finish.
Okay.
Okay. It's safe. I mean, you can get a Clorox wipe out and wipe your guitar down.
Sure.
I have not tested this on nitro.
Sure.
Nitro, is a really scary thing to put anything on.
We've had our conversations about that.
Yeah. So as a result, I wouldn't even try it.
Sure.
But so don't use this on nitro. But if it's a poly, then go ahead. Spray it on the rag, not the guitar.
Sure.
And just give it a good scrub down, man.
I like it.
Give it a bath. And kind of right in here, we're under the strings. Obviously that's going to be your best. And here's another thing, everybody, you got to oil your fretboards so they don't dry out too much, right? And now that I've wiped down the body, most of the moisture is kind of gone. It's still it's a little damp, but I don't want to get my fretboard wet. I've got oil on it and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll just wipe it down. Okay, now to oil or not to oil is the question.
That is the question.
If needed, I'll use some of the hydrate, and I really like this oil. It doesn't darken the wood too much.
Sure.
Some of these oils will just any figure in the wood just gets eliminated, and so I don't want anything to color my fretboard.
Right.
I just want to give it a drink and keep it. And in this case, I'll just take a blue shop towel.
Sure.
Put it on, rub it on, let it sit for a minute, and then rub it off.
Sure.
But don't do it every time you change your strings.
100%.
How often do you change your strings?
It depends on the guitar. I know you're supposed to change them more than I do. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But the guitars that I use regularly are probably about every 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
So.
And that's probably, if you're a playing musician, that's probably about what most people do.
Yeah. Did you see my video from NAMM last year?
No.
So
no.
I did street interviews and I walked around and I asked people, when should you change your strings? And it's an absolute disaster. Nobody knows is the short answer.
Yeah.
Because I got every day, I got every 2 gigs, I got every 3 months, I got everything. So
Zach Myers from Shinedown changes them every single song.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I feel like that's too much personally, but I'm also not Zach Myers from Shinedown. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, and his guitar tech, Fop.
Yeah.
The guy is like, I became a better luthier just by meeting him.
Sure.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, he has a different guitar for every song that he performs on tour, and every night before they go on, Fop will change all the strings and set up every guitar, go through the whole thing. It's incredible.
That's awesome.
So, 3 months if you're playing a lot. But really, it's like, when do they start not sounding so brilliant?
Yeah, that's really, I go based off of feel and sound.
Yeah. If they start sounding dead, then it's time.
Yeah.
I've had people bring in, hey, do you think I should change my strings? they're like 70 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
You
They're
know, they've
black.
never-
You get tetanus just looking at them.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, change it more than that.
Yeah.
But okay, so when it comes to oiling the fretboard, you do not need to do it every time.
Sure.
This one looks really good. It's got that rich, dark color.
Mhm.
It doesn't look dry in any way, shape, or form. If you do it every time you change your strings, you're going to start building up, and then it's going to collect
Yeah.
grime, and that's where you're going to get your chud build up, right?
Chud. What a word.
I know. Huh?
Yeah.
I wonder who came up with that.
I know, right?
Anyway, so this one I'm not going to oil today. I don't want to overdo it.
Sure.
But if it starts looking dry, then
Oil.
a little bit of oil with
Yep.
your string change,
Sounds
and you're
good to
good to
me.
go. I do need to clean off the head plate. This is like one of the hardest places to
Sure.
clean on
Yep.
the guitar, especially when the strings are on.
So you, in your shop, you have what I would describe as a limitless supply of wood options.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that you find working with all these different wood types?
I have a little distinct advantage over other luthiers
Okay.
that are starting out or early in their careers.
Sure.
Okay. In the fact that I had a lot of experience with woodworking.
Mm-hmm.
So I already knew what it was like to work with koa.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And all these other different exotics. If I were coming into this kind of new and I didn't have that background
Yeah.
with all the, I was really specialized in exotics.
Cool.
And so, but if I didn't have that, then I would say learning the characteristics of each wood.
Yeah.
Some woods like to bend more than others.
Mm-hmm.
Some are more brittle.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to bend the sides and I'm using wenge,
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful dark, actually has kind of a chocolatey smell.
Sure.
It's like just a really stiff piece of plastic that just, it'll take it.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get it wrapped around the pipe, but it wants to just come right back and
Interesting.
doesn't, it's like, spring steel almost. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so you almost kind of have to beat it into submission and get it into the mold and then glue everything to hold it together. And
Sure.
then it finally stays, right?
Yeah.
So, but every wood is just different characteristically. Some will tear out more when you're planing or
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Yeah.
So I would say the biggest challenge would be learning the woods
Sure.
and understanding about not just grain direction,
Mm-hmm.
but run out and what that does to it, what it
Sure.
means,
Mhm.
things like that.
So you've had a lot of opportunities to rub shoulders with a lot of really kind of bigger names in the industry.
Mhm.
What's the most nerve-wracking thing about that?
Um,
Or is there anything nerve-wracking? Is probably a better
at the
question.
beginning there was,
Okay.
the first few times, it was a little nerve-wracking. Are they
Mhm.
going to like my guitars?
Yeah.
My mom likes them. She thinks they're good.
Yeah.
But now you're talking about a world-class musician who can play anything he
Yeah.
wants. And so how is he going to like them?
Mhm.
So at the very beginning, there was a little bit of that. I think I felt it heightened when I went to Nashville the first time and was invited to bring some guitars out to be recorded
Sure.
by one of the most recorded guitarists in history.
Mm-hmm.
His name is John Willis.
Mhm.
And he's not a household name, not a lot of people. He's a session studio guy
Right.
who works every single day.
The unsung heroes.
But yeah, he's been on albums from Brooks and Dunn and,
Mhm.
and Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, all the way to Blake Shelton and Taylor Swift. I mean,
Mhm.
and everybody in between.
Sure.
And so I was really nervous that day. I was they said bring in a guitar, and if it's not intonated, he's not going to use it.
Stressful.
Oh yeah, it was really stressful. And then I was like second guessing even to the moment I walked out of my hotel room to go to the studio. I
Uh-huh.
almost left one of the guitars in the hotel room because it wasn't my favorite
Yeah.
of the three I was going to bring. It was like
Sure.
maybe lacking a little bass, right?
Mhm.
And so that was the most nerve-wracking. But now I've gotten to the point where, in fact, I ended up taking it with me. Last minute decision. I'm
Mhm.
like, who knows? It was his favorite.
Of course.
It
It always
course.
is, right?
Yeah. So I've learned to just don't have any preconceived ideas or expectations and just
Sure.
go with the flow. And they're just people.
Yeah.
They're just, Kenny Loggins was a fun one,
Mhm.
taking some guitars and letting him, watching him play. He actually played a couple of them. He played one and both of his guitarists played my guitars. on his farewell tour
Sure.
when they played here in Utah. So that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, I think we're good for strings.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna just push it in and pull it kind of up as I'm seating my pin, so that it's again going past the ball.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure my hole is parallel to the fretboard and push the string all the way through. Okay, now this is where we start internet fights.
Okay. That's actually what we're here to do.
Okay, good, because there's a lot of people who do the Luthier's knot.
Sure. Not a fan. All
No,
right.
No. These things are kind of designed to be locking by nature.
Right.
They're an hourglass shape. There's a hole through it, and if you wind them the way I'm showing you how to do it, the tension itself will slip the wires up and pin it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So you do not need to do the Luthier knot. It just makes the strings harder to get off. It doesn't look as good.
Sure.
I'm a little OCD.
Okay.
About how I do things.
That's okay. You could be OCD.
I think you have to be a Luthier.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That being said, I want a really clean headstock.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to pull it through all the way. And I'm going to pull it nice and kind of tight. And I'm going to pinch it right here at the nut.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to let go here for a second. Not completely, but just let go of the tension so I can pull the string back 1.5 frets.
Awesome.
Okay. I'm going to take that side and bend it to the opposite side of the guitar.
Cool.
Okay. Now that I've done that, I'm going to change my position and I'm going to hold the strings underneath my fingers. You know, my these three fingers. Slide it up, and then I can kind of pinch it with my middle finger and thumb, and push down right behind the nut.
Okay.
Okay. I want tension on this.
Yeah.
I don't want to start winding it up without pulling back and having tension being pulled on it. Okay. And so now I can just wind it up. And the one thing you want to do is make sure it winds underneath itself constantly. And then listen to this. And now because I've wound it this way, I'll give it one little stretch. I can literally cut this at the nub. And look how tight and clean that is. And the thing about that is, you know, I'm not going to get need a tetanus shot because I've put my hand anywhere near, you know, poked. Oh, man.
Yeah.
You see people who will leave them long.
Yeah. It's the cool thing to do. It's what the cool kids are doing.
Yeah. Or roll them up into circles.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody's got their thing. If that's your thing, cool.
That's awesome, man.
So, but anyway, that's it. And so there's a couple of changes on here that I'll make, and I'll show you where those are.
Okay.
But here's another one. We'll go to the next string and number 5 and push it in. Put it in here, go all the way through, pull it, the tension out, pinch it at the nut, pull it back 1.5 frets, bend it to the opposite side of the guitar, and then push it down behind the nut and wind it underneath itself. Hear that pitch down?
It's a party trick.
Okay, cut it off at the nub, and you're good to go. And you're going to see that you have like 3 winds on there. By going that far back, that gives you 3 winds. It's just beautiful. Awesome. It's consistent too, you know, no guessing.
Love it. So you and I have had many conversations about, I guess I would call it, you know, more spiritual or ethereal or, you know, universe-related things.
Yeah.
And I know that one of the things that you do in your guitars is you write what you call love notes in them.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Cool. Yeah.
Where it started.
So, have you ever watched some of the videos on YouTube, like Dr. Emoto's water experiments? Okay. They're really cool. If you haven't seen them, look them up. Not yet, not till you finish this video.
Obviously.
You gotta wait till
Yes.
this one's over. But anyway, he does these experiments where he basically puts different messages or words on a dish with water, freezes it, and then looks at it, you know, under a microscope. And the positive words look completely different than the negative.
Okay.
It's really, really stunning. So my wife and I, we did one called the rice experiment, and you can find all kinds of people doing different tests with that as well. And we boiled a pot of rice, split it up into 2 Glad containers with the lid on them, and then we left them on the counter for several weeks. And the only difference between the 2 containers was on one I wrote the word love and the other I wrote the word hate. So it's not a scientific laboratory. It's my kitchen. It's anecdotal. I get all that. But I watched something happen because after several weeks, I pulled the lid off of the hate rice, and the mold had grown up like hair underneath the lid, right? And then I pulled the love rice lid off, and there was one spot about the size of maybe between a quarter and a 50-cent piece that was tan brown, and the rest was a dingy white. Something happened. Like I watched, it was cooked, it was dead, right? My hypothesis and best explanation of this is that there's life to all things, that there's all matter is made up of some kind of organized intelligence.
Sure.
As a result, it can respond to the energy that's around us. So those words, we have a certain energy that we associate with those words. That's what I believe was happening in the rice. But I thought about it one day. I'd only built a couple of guitars before I started doing this, and I'm getting ready to glue a piece of wood together. I think a neck blank, and I'm gluing the heel stack up. And if we can affect rice that way, why not a piece of wood? So I got my joints all prepped and ready, and I got the glue bottle out. And before I put the glue onto the wood, I grabbed a pencil and I started writing what I now call love notes.
Sure.
Healing power of music, beautiful tone, gratitude, anything positive. And it's literally in every joint. I mean, with the exception on that little, you know, I got to be able to write it. You know? but anywhere I can, I'm putting love notes in there.
Gotcha.
And I do believe you can hear it in the tone of the guitar.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're telling me the reason I don't have beautiful tone is because Gibson didn't write love notes in the joints of my guitars, huh?
Oh, where do I go with that one? I have thoughts. No, but seriously, think about it though for a second. Gibson went through some turmoil, and their reputation started to wane. They all of a sudden they started having issues with broken headstocks and things like that. But I'm also kind of imagining that you got these workers that probably aren't super loving their job under the conditions. And Gibson, you know, their history, they're rich. It's like it's beautiful. They have some of the most classic, iconic, beautiful, I mean, amazing guitars in the world, right? In history. And some of those really old guitars, when they were at their height and people loved what they were doing. There was an energy, right? And I think that you can hear that. That's why those golden era guitars, one of the reasons. I mean, you know, obviously the types of wood, you know.
Sort of stuff,
I mean, I can imagine, you know, you're going through bankruptcy at one point, and I'm sure there's workers that are just not putting the love into it that they did decades before when they were at the height, right? And I think that comes out in the final instruments, and you can hear it in the voice or not hear what you want to hear. Right?
I agree.
I think you can create a culture where everybody working on it is protecting that energy.
Sure.
Does that make sense? I have a rule in my shop. Everybody's welcome through the front door, and that comes into my studio, and I've got guitars in there and stuff. But if you're having a bad day or you're off, don't bring it into my shop. That place is sacred, and I don't want that energy. If you're going through come in the first door, grab a guitar, get right. You know. But don't bring that into my shop because I don't want that energy going into my guitars. right?
Yeah.
And so I protect that. And I have I've had apprentices and,
Mhm.
you know, friends that are working on guitars or
Mhm.
clients that come in and work on them with me. And I've had them call me up, hey, I'm not coming in today. It's a bad day.
Mhm.
Got into an argument with my wife. I'm, you know,
Sure.
not in a good place. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for protecting that space, you
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is the first change.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing, pull it here, but come back 1.5. But this time, because we're going to the opposite side, I'm bending it toward me.
Gotcha.
Okay, on my 3x3. Okay, but everything else is identical at this point still. Just changing the direction. Oh. Again, make sure you're going underneath. And I'm not. And I had my glasses off, so I couldn't see it.
It's all good.
So I
Well-
didn't get it underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it back because I'm about to do a luthier knot and then hate myself.
Yeah. Can't have that. No negative energy in the string change.
Whew, that was a close call.
Yeah. Could have been a disaster. Could have had a Luthier's knot.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we had bent it. Let me just get all the way. Okay, we had bent it at this point here. Okay, get that tension back on there. Okay, now it's going underneath, so we're good. It's underneath now.
Perfect.
That's what I needed. All right, next change. Now that I'm going to my unwound strings,
Mm-hmm.
okay? 1 and 2. Put it in the same way. Okay. Push it through, pull it tight. And now the only change here on both the unwound strings is instead of 1.5 frets, we're going to pull it all the way to 2. I want an extra wind.
Makes sense to
because it's not wound,
Mhm.
so it doesn't have the grip that it needs, or you know, the friction hold. 2 frets.
Boom.
Okay, and make sure we wind it underneath this time. And if you have to stop and just pull it up, you can. That makes it easier. See, and you see them way low down there at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
but then when you get tighter, it starts to squeeze it up a little bit.
Totally. Awesome.
Okay, last one.
First time I met you, you asked me a question. You said, what do you think is the most important tool in your tool belt?
Mm-hmm.
So I would pose that back to you. And for the sake of the interview, what is the most important tool in your tool belt?
Okay. Well, it's the few tools that's not in my belt. I've got bandsaws and sanders, and all of them are very important to me and the process. But number one most important tool at my disposal is inspiration. By far, not by a little. One of the reasons I view that way is because I haven't been doing this that long. I've only been building guitars since 2017, like you said, you know. And so there are guys that have been building guitars longer than I've been alive. And I could spend 3 lifetimes and never learn and understand everything there is to understand about building guitars.
Mm-hmm.
So the best hope I have is to tap into like the one only true source of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
which is a higher power. And I'm working on that. I haven't perfected it by any means. But if you can get good at honing into something bigger, it's no different than the songwriter who writes that song that comes through him instead of from him.
Sure.
The people that describe that song, I didn't write it. It was already existing out there, and I channeled it, right? It just came through me. It's the same concept. If you can get good at learning that language, that communicating with something bigger, something higher, then you're tapping into the only source of true knowledge, right? And so I can shortcut lifetimes of acquiring information. I'm not always going to get it right because I'm not fluent at that language yet, you know, but you can, you know, have better results than what you could do on your own, if that makes sense. So inspiration becomes like literally my most important tool at my disposal. Okay, and from this, since I'm not plugging this in, I always like to just bring a string with me. I like to just put it up here.
So what's your argument for using the Peterson tuners as opposed to a TC Electronics or something else?
Accuracy.
Yeah.
They're just the most accurate you can get out there. In my shop on my bench, I've got one of the analog strobe tuners, the really expensive ones, but they're just dead on. They have more information, but these are so good. And there's different sweetened tunings that you can do that'll take the instrument. Like I'll put it on a different setting for electric. So on the first go around, I'm just doing a pitch raise. I'm not trying to get it perfect on every string because obviously I had this one passed. I had it sharp. Now it's almost, well, it's like a half step down now because I got the tension on the whole neck. So just a pitch raise first. Actually, for the first 2 times. I'm just trying to get it in the general area. Okay, and I might be sharp on a few of them, that's fine. Now I'm going to stretch my strings. And this is probably one of the most skipped steps, or people don't understand that, that you can do this or should do this. But if you want to have your guitar not constantly falling out of tune, soon as, and I think a lot of people do that. They don't change their strings because they're going to fight the tuning for a while. Stretch your strings, and that'll go away. So I take my 4 fingers, get them under the string, and I take my thumb and I just pull up on it. And you're probably going to want to come around and get it from this angle over here. And I'll just hold it for a couple of seconds, a few, and then I'll move it up a few inches and do it again. And I'll do this all the way up. And this is a good time to have a conversation because this takes some time.
Totally. Let's do it.
But I'll do this 3 times on each string. And or some people, and I'm impatient, which is kind of funny to hear from a luthier. But, I don't have patience for stretching strings. So if you want to do it right, do it till it stops falling out of tune.
That makes sense.
There was this guy that come in to build a guitar for his wife, and his name's Cameron. He ordered a guitar. He wanted to I do this thing called the builder experience. I'm not a school. I'm not trying to teach the, you know. But if you want to become a luthier, it's a good place to start. You get in it, really heavily exposed to it. But those who buy guitars have the option where they can come in like once a week or whatever, and we just work on your guitar together. Right? I'll still do the hard things or whatever because I'm going fast. But it's kind of a cool experience, you know, for those who want to do that. So this guy, he wanted to be involved with the building process of building a guitar for his wife. And we were about to do his rosette, and I had this piece of Chechen as the wood. It's a Caribbean rosewood. And I had it already cut for his his rosette
Mhm.
for the inlay. I had the male piece ready to cut into the top, right? And we were actually working on this guitar, and he saw all this blue resin, and he's
Mhm.
like, "Man, that blue is beautiful."
Mhm.
He says, "Can you put some of that into my guitar,
Mhm.
into my rosette?" And I already had the rosette ring, wood
Sure.
ring. So I'm like, "Sure, yeah, what do you have in mind?" He goes, "I'm not sure." So I just grabbed it and I took a little white pencil and just drew this little wavy design
Mhm.
on the piece of wood.
Mhm.
And I said, "What do you think of that?" And he goes, "That's it. That's what I want. Perfect." And I felt like, "Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
I gotta put a little more
Yeah,
effort into
yeah.
that was way too easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta at least try,
Yeah.
you know." He's like, "No, no, 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 no."
That's it.
I'm like, "We could come up with something pretty cool, you know? Like we could push it a little bit, you
Yeah.
know?" And he's like, "No, that's exactly what I want." Okay, fine. Well, it was supposed to be a surprise.
Mhm.
His wife learns about it, finds out about it,
Okay.
and she finds a text,
Mhm.
right? About, you know, him and I communicating about it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And oh, so this is where you've been.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
This is where you go every
Yeah,
Thursday.
yeah. I've been wondering, you know. um, anyway, she finds out. She's excited.
Mhm.
She's thrilled. So she wants to come in and see the guitar now that the cat's out of the bag,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay.
And so I had this thing half built, and you know, now the rosette's in, and the top is, you know, kind of on the body,
Mhm.
and she comes walking in, and she sees that rosette and puts her hand on it, and she goes, and just starts crying.
Mhm.
I'm like, "You okay?" And she says, "You have no idea what this means to me." I said, "You're right. I have no clue." I said, "What are you experiencing?"
Uh,
And she said, "When I was a young girl growing up, my childhood was pretty hard and went through some tough things. And I always found healing near a body of water, whether it was a river, a lake, a beach, you know, ocean,
mhm.
whatever. I would go and sit and I would feel this healing.
Sure.
And water always finds its way through the obstacles. It
Mhm.
always finds a way."
Mhm.
And she says, "That's what this is to me." And then she says, "It's also the living waters,"
Mhm.
which I thought was beautiful. And I was stunned because like I literally, you know, had just drawn this thing
Mhm.
with no effort, felt like I cheated,
Mhm.
and yet, you know, who would have known that it would have had such a profound effect on this person I was
Yeah.
building it for?
Yeah.
And that is inspiration, right?
Gotcha.
That's what that means to
Mhm.
me.
So it's obvious you put a great deal of care and thought into every single element. What has been the most challenging element that you've had to work on with the guitar?
There's different things that are harder than others.
Mhm.
Carving a neck terrified me
Mhm.
before I did it.
Sure.
It was a paper tiger. Because once I did it, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's not so bad," you know.
Okay.
Actually, that's kind of fun, you
Yeah.
know.
Let's do it again.
But the first neck, I was terrified of
Yeah.
carving a neck. You know,
Uh-huh.
I could set a table saw to a certain width, and
Mhm.
you know, it's like following a recipe, or you know,
Sure.
no big deal. But carving a neck, there's this artistic side of things
Mhm.
where you know, I kind of like almost envision it like carving a wood duck,
Mhm.
right? You gotta have a pretty good imagination. There's a certain skill.
Yeah.
And it's not the same as running something through a table saw or a sander, right?
Mhm.
So that terrified me. That was more artistic to me.
Mhm.
That was more of an art to me than you know, using a chisel
Yeah.
or you know, a saw. But the idea though is the neck carve was extremely intimidating.
Mhm.
And the first time I carved a neck, I had built this holder for it. And I'm like, well, I don't know what this is going to be like.
Mhm.
Let me just see what happens. And I started, and like 15, 20 minutes into it, I've got the basic shape.
Mhm.
And I was floored. I'm like, wow, that actually looks like a neck.
Yeah.
You know? Now, I spend probably 10 times I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I mean, I'm hyperbole here,
Mhm.
but I spend way more time after I get the basic shape
Mhm.
than I do getting to the basic shape.
Sure.
That's pretty simple and quick. I can hog a neck down in, you
Mhm.
know, 20 minutes, half hour, or something
Yeah.
like that. But when I go to fine tune it and finesse it, that's where I'm using straight edges and scrapers and looking at every angle I can for symmetry and things like that. And you know, it's really that's the point. That's the experience. I mean, who cares if it sounds amazing?
Yeah.
If when you grab it, it's like foreign or uncomfortable or not right.
Yeah.
You know, that's a really important thing. So that was intimidating, but you know, not as hard as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Another thing was just learning that the early steps build the foundation for the later steps. And so, you know, kind of a sign of a new luthier, which you'll see in my early guitars too, is you'll have bindings that are extra thin in some spots.
Sure.
And that comes from your sides not being perfectly aligned,
Gotcha.
or you know, there's just a lot of prep work that you didn't do fully, or maybe you rushed through early in the build, that when you get to the point where it's time to put the binding on it, it just doesn't work the way you expected it to.
Yeah.
Because the foundational things weren't there, right? So learning how to do that kind of stuff was important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a good setup. I mean, it's an interesting thing. I told you, you know, when I met backstage at the Shinedown concert, and I met Fop, Zach Meyer's tech. I mean, he was speaking another language.
Yeah.
And most people who'd played my guitars, yeah, that feels good. You know? But there's good, and then there's like Fop, right?
Yeah.
And that guy, I mean, I'll always, the rest of my life, be trying to be as good of a technician as that guy.
Sure.
Right?
Awesome.
It's been 37 years since I strung this up.
Feels that way sometimes, doesn't it?
I am not a fan of stretching strings. It has to be done.
Well, yeah. So that's the thing. I've never taken this long to stretch strings before.
Yeah.
Usually, I
Pull
stretch.
A couple times.
I stretch each one, and then I twist the pegs and retune, and then I stretch again, and then I retune.
Yeah.
So it's very fascinating to me.
But you still go out of tune.
Not after about 2 or 3 times of doing that.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
So
that's good.
But I don't have a Peterson, so you know, not a sponsor, but could be.
Peterson's amazing to work with, and they're good people.
I believe it. So you have primarily built acoustic guitars, but you do build some electric guitars. How difficult is it to decide on a guitar body shape?
It depends.
Okay.
If you're gonna build clones of everybody else's guitars, it's really easy.
Yeah.
By the way, it'd be more profitable too.
Yeah.
People want, like, you know, that's something people like. Yeah, coming up with my electric guitar shape was a beast. It took me 6 years. And it was, you know, I was trying to design it all on AutoCAD, and every time I sat down to try to design a body, a shape, it was like writer's block. I could not come up with anything at all. And then one day I got a little wild hair, and I took my cutaway acoustic orchestra, you know, shape, shrunk it down to the size of an electric, and put all the humbuckers and all the, you know, drew it all on AutoCAD, and went, nope, looks like an acoustic trying to be an electric.
Sure.
Okay. And then what was interesting is on AutoCAD, I just drew 2 circles here and then clipped them. And it was like, there you are. There it is. And it just felt kind of handed to me, if you will, you know. And it was interesting because I shared it with a lot of people as a drawing, and I got a lot of mixed feedback. But yet this is one of those moments of inspiration because I was feeling it. Even though I didn't know exactly what it would look like in 3D, real life space, you know. So I got that thing built, and I love the shape. I mean, it's perfect. But what's cool is it's got like this continuity throughout my line, right? All the shapes have similarities, and you know, they're all Rask, you know. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So now I'm building a few other instruments. I got a bunch of new stuff,
Oh, cool.
like firsts.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I have my first nylon string classical guitar at the finisher,
Right.
ready to, when I get that back, I can string it up.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my first parlor guitar, so
Cool.
small body.
Mm-hmm.
And I have kind of a new shape altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a student. I'm gonna do a course
Okay.
on how to build an acoustic guitar, and I
Mhm.
designed the whole shape to be very unintimidating,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like no tight bends. Everything is really, it just inspires more confidence in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Approachable, I
Sure.
guess. And so I'm just about to finish the first prototype of that.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes well, that'll be the model that I use
Mhm.
for this new course.
Mm-hmm.
That may have somebody in it that you might recognize.
Maybe. We'll see. People might get sick of me after this one, you know?
I also have a bass guitar
Mm-hmm.
and like a short scale 30-inch scale bass. It's
Mhm.
going to be cool.
Cool.
And then now I have a new, like a Telecaster kind of style
Mm-hmm.
filled. It's not a Telecaster copy,
Sure.
but it kind of will be really comfortable it'll fill that space of
Mm-hmm.
those that want that kind of a sound
Sure.
and feel.
Makes sense.
So yeah,
It's popular, I hear. I've
Yeah.
heard of it before.
Yeah.
Your guitars have been used on a bunch of different records and
Mm-hmm.
projects and that sort of thing. What do you think are some of the coolest projects that you know of that your Rask guitars have been on?
Mm. Well, without getting too much into my story or backstory, why how I got to where I'm at, I will say that the biggest like kind of epiphany or life-changing moment was after I got my first guitar strung up, and I handed it to somebody. Well, he asked to borrow it,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "I got this project I'm working on," and it's a rock opera, and he wanted that specific sound on his. It was a huge compliment. I just built this thing. I had no idea if it would even sound good, right?
Sure.
And now he wants to use it for this recording project, and I thought that was cool. But it was it was a story about a young man who'd committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd kind of been there, like at that low level,
Sure.
almost did. And so now I have this opportunity to take this thing that's, co-creation in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I get to take the most beautiful materials that are already made
Mm-hmm.
and hidden in trees all over the world and make something new with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I get to hand it to somebody like you or this guy who's using it to do something like meaningful, powerful, bringing light into the world, lifting others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that kicked in and I understood that this thing that I had made was actually going to be used and heard by millions of people, and it was actually going to bring healing to these families who had been touched by this, horrible tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time in my life I ever felt like a deep, deep sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the first time I knew who I am and like why I'm on this planet, if that makes sense, right? So, what was crazy is things out of my control started to develop pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
One guy used it for a religious youth concert that went out to millions. I only had built 3 guitars, and it's being seen by millions of teenagers all over the world, literally, through this event that he borrowed the guitar to do. And it was the first guitar that he picked. And it was the only one I ever did that didn't have a logo. So I printed, like I cut out a vinyl sticker and put it on the headstock,
Sure. Just throw that on there real quick.
Yeah. So I think those are more important to me than like some big celebrity. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's pretty cool watching Kenny Loggins playing one of your guitars to thousands of people. That's a pretty cool moment.
That's an accomplishment.
What made that moment even more cool is he picked the one with the water rosette. And so I got to have that couple. I got tickets for them and had them in the crowd and surprised them. They had no idea. We're halfway through the concert, and all of a sudden, the stage tech, comes out and hands them a guitar, and they're like, what,
Wait a
and then on
second.
the big jumbotron, there
Yeah.
he is holding their guitar.
Yeah.
So cool.
That is cool.
That made that moment even more precious
Mm-hmm.
because it was shared with people I care about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that was the thing. So yeah, I mean, it's cool seeing celebrities play your guitars. That's
Mhm.
fun. But really, it's when people have those really meaningful experiences.
Yeah.
The deep spiritual connections, watching somebody's life changed because of music or guitar, you
Mhm.
know, that's the meaningful stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally.
So this is all pretty much done. I guess we could just do a final tuning and okay. You want to give her
Sure. Why not?
a go?
Give her a couple strums.
Give her a tickle.
Jazzy. Sounds good to me.
Man, thank you.
Love it. Well, Robert, thank you so much for coming in. I
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it, man.
It's been a blast. Thank you.
Glad we got to see how you do it. And anything you want to tell the people about and any one of these cameras?
Avoid the Luthier knot.
Avoid the Luthier knot. Thank you so much. We'll see you around.
All right, buddy. Thank you.